Malpica, natural health and diet specialist. And I'm going to wait a few minutes to allow some people to jump on this live. This is the second episode of Eat and Live Naturally, which I broadcast live on YouTube as well as Facebook. So if you get an opportunity to jump in the discussion, I definitely encourage it. I'd love to hear your thoughts and interact with all of you. So let's give it a few minutes and, type a comment if you're watching live. I'd love to hear from you. So let's get this bad boy going. Let's see here. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. If it's your first time on the YouTube channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button. And so you can get notifications of every time I go live, which is going to be every Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. Central Time. But I also have videos on my channel as well that I drop periodically. And also have my own coaching page, The Eat Coach, as you can see down at the bottom there, theeatcoach.com. I do an 8-week program to get you on the path of natural health and diet. I also have a dietary evaluation that I do that will track your eating for 7 days and then give you an evaluation of where you're at, and also give you recommended tips and guidance on how to get you more healthy. But today we're going to focus on nutrients and energy and how we look at our diet. I want to just throw this disclaimer out there. Number one, I am not a medical professional and I am not a medical doctor. So all of the views that I'm sharing and ideas and opinions are from my own personal philosophy. So I just had to get that out there for you. But like I said, I want to make this interactive, so feel free to jump in at any time. And when we look at health and diet, like, we kind of have to look at how we've been, programmed to think about health and diet, from an early age all the way up to our adulthood. Everything we've seen on TV, everything we've heard from doctors, especially in America, is going to be from an allopathic point of view. It's going to be from a what I like to call a germ theory point of view. And they look at health a little bit different. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. And I'm going to break a lot of that down for you on this live. So, like, we have been conditioned and taught to really focus on nutrients. Now, nutrients, nutrition kind of goes hand in hand, nutritionists, all these different things, right? And you guys are probably out there saying, of course, we've got to get nutrition. If you don't have nutrition, then you have malnutrition, and malnutrition can lead to all kinds of different sicknesses and death. Completely understandable. But what I want to focus on today on this particular live is why we focus on nutrients versus focusing on energy. Because when you eat food, you are getting energy from that food. But we have been conditioned to look at nutrients more than we look at energy. I mean, let's be honest out there. Anybody who's watching, how many times have you thought about, how much energy is this particular food going to give me? I mean, most people nowadays look at energy from like an energy drink standpoint. Oh, I'm going to drink a Red Bull because it's going to give me energy. It's going to wake me up. I'm going to drink coffee because it's going to give me energy. Like, that is the only correlation I feel that most people have, when it comes to energy with what they consume. So, but there's a reason for that. And the main reason for that is because we've all been indoctrinated with and programmed and conditioned with what I would call an unfulfilling diet. And what I mean unfulfilling is it is not truly fulfilling to the body. It is not, symbiotic with the body, right? Physiologically, we were built to eat certain things. We're built to have alkaline-based diet. We are built to have hydration within our diet so our system can move smoothly and we can have balance within the body, where we can get as close to homeostasis, which is balance of the body, as we possibly can. But the diet that has been pushed on us, that we have grown up with, that we went to school and gotten and learned about, is not that diet. So how does that correlate with nutrients? Well, because the diet that has been pushed on us whether it be the standard American diet or a number of different diets, as I'm going to show you, is not fulfilling. The foods that we've been taught to eat are not fulfilling. So what has happened throughout the years is doctors, nutritionists, scientists, whatever you want to call it, have taken those unfulfilling foods and broken them down in categories and isolated those categories so they can utilize what one unfulfilling food is not giving you and sell you another one, or tell you why I need to eat a piece of chicken with rice or a piece of chicken with whole grain bread or whatever the case may be, because the piece of chicken is missing this, so the bread is going to fulfill some of those gaps. Or, you got to mix a little bit of vegetables in because you're missing this, or whatever the case may be. The point is that when you look at the standard American diet, you look at just the standard diet pretty much across the world, there are so many holes in the foods that are being pushed that now they have to push the nutrients because you're not getting them. Nutrients, the word nutrition, those types of things wouldn't even be a thing if people were eating the diet they're supposed to eat or getting as close to it as they possibly can. I mean, if you look at the types of diets that are out there, from keto, paleo, vegetarian, Mediterranean, vegan, all these different things. You see raw down there, and obviously that's much as close to the optimal as you're going to get. Eating raw foods is going to be, the best possible diet you can do. But all those other diets are unfulfilling. And I'm even speaking to the vegetarians and the vegans, because processed food is not, like, our body's not built to process processed foods. Our body's not built to handle cooked foods. Now, it can handle them, but it's not optimal. So when you start, adding all these other foods that are not optimal for the body, well, now the body's out of balance. Now the body is over acidic. Now the body has to compensate. All these different things. And all those different things are energetic burdens on the body. But this is the main reason that they focus on nutrients over focusing on energy. When it comes to energy, really the only things you ever hear about, like I talked about the energy drinks and stuff like that, but also you hear about calories. That's the main thing they point out, calories. But when you really break down what a calorie is, it's really not about energy that is used for the body. So that's kind of where we're at when it comes to nutrients. Now, when it comes to energy and looking at food from an energetic perspective, it's completely different, because at the end of the day, when we consume food, it is processed and broken down and utilized as energy for the body. All the cells need carbohydrates to function, to do all the processes that go on within the body. And the body needs, as a whole, needs the energy in order to do the processes it needs to do to ultimately get you to balance, to heal, all the autonomic functions that go on within the body. It is all energetic, all of it. At the end of the day, whatever you eat, your body is trying to process it into energy. Doesn't matter what you eat. That's the function of the body. You eat fat, it's going to store it away for the future times, survival times, to where you're going to need energy. That's the main process here. And the reason I wanted to do this live to break down the difference, because if we start looking at foods from an energetic perspective instead of a nutrient perspective, it'll make it a lot easier to understand why eating fruits, eating leafy greens are all raw, are the best diet for you. And it's not to tell people out there, oh, you have to only do that. I would say that should be a goal if you want to get to optimal health. But look, everybody has a different journey. But the main thing is you have to understand the gold standard. You have to understand the baseline, so if I need to get healthy, if I want to get healthier, if I want to overcome this disease, overcome this ailment, I need to get as close to the optimal diet as I possibly can to lift that burden off my body, so my body can have the energy to heal itself. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Okay? So when you look at nutrients in fruits, and obviously this is in every fruit, but this is pretty much a pretty big selection of fruits, you will notice that fruits provide you with all the nutrients that you would ever need. The reason I'm pointing this out is if our diets were fruit dominant, nutrients wouldn't even be an issue. It would just be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about, I'm hungry, I want to eat food. If we ate a fruit dominant diet, guess what? That's all we would think about. We would think about it as food, not as, well, I'm going to eat this food to give me my zinc. I'm going to eat this food to give me my potassium. I'm going to eat this food to give me some more protein. I'm going to eat this food to give me my vitamin, B2. No. The reason we think like that is because we've been conditioned to eat foods that do not provide us with the full array of nutrients. So we have to break those things individually and isolate them. But when you make fruit the dominant part of your diet, fruits and raw veggies, leafy greens, all these bases are covered. So it's not about nutrients anymore. It's about energy. That's all it's about. It's a different mindset. If you're watching on the replay, hit me up with a pound replay to let me know you understand where I'm coming from here. It's just a completely different mindset. But we are sold so much on lack. Oh man, I got to get my vitamin D, so I got to get my supplement. When you got the sun right there for you every single day. Now, some of us live in cloudy areas, some of us live in cold areas, but the sun's still working for you. It's still working for you. And no isolated supplement is ever going to equate to the energy you're going to receive from the sun, plain and simple. Right? And then you get these myths about, the amount of protein you need and the B12, things of that nature, which were all conjured up by an industry that is, number one, trying to sell something. Actually, I shouldn't even say number one or number two. It is what it is. They're trying to sell you something because they have to push protein because the corporations push what? They push meat and fish, and meat, fish, and beans. If you want to even go further than that, and without creating the issue, creating the problem, then they can't offer up a solution. That's just kind of the way it works when we're looking at the allopathic society when it comes to health. So remember that, like from a nutrients versus energy standpoint, like the nutrients are an issue because of an unfulfilling diet that you're currently eating, that you've been indoctrinated to think is good for you. But when you eat what you're supposed to eat, nutrients isn't even a question. Because as I showed you before, fruits cover it all. Yeah, some might have a little bit more than others, but it's never an issue. Nutrients are never in the equation because you're getting everything you need. And the most important part is you're getting energy. So I want to show you all this because it's very important to understand that we are electrical beings, right? We are electrical beings. The body is electric. If the body is electric, then you should feed it alkaline, electric nutrition. Alkalinity also is synonymous with hydration, hydrating foods. The moment you cook a food, you're losing the water content in that food. Therefore, you're creating stagnation. You're creating dehydration. You're not flowing. Everything in your body should flow. Your body is majority fluid. So doesn't it make sense that your body should flow? Alkaline is energy. Viruses, germs, bacteria, which are the manifestation of disease. That's a whole nother conversation. I didn't create this, so I don't necessarily agree with that aspect, but I do agree with they cannot survive in an alkaline environment. There's always the conversation of good bacteria versus bad bacteria. My philosophy is there is only bacteria, and it is pleomorphic, meaning it is going to adapt to the environment that it is in. If it is a dirty, unclean environment, guess what? The bacteria is going to feed, because bacteria is a cleanser. It's going to clean. It's cleaning up the trash, the dirt. That's what it does. That's what viruses do as well. And that's essentially what a germ is. Parasites, same thing. Parasites are not going to survive in an alkaline environment. Just is what it is. It's basic chemistry. An alkaline diet promotes a disease-free body and mind. Maintaining a proper pH balance within your body while providing energy, health, and wellness is essential. Increase your energy, enhance nutrient absorption, and ease digestion. All of that plays into this. We are electrical beings. So doesn't it make sense for us to eat the most electric foods? Now, how do you measure the electricity in a food? This is what I think is pretty cool. So did you know the energy of healthy foods, fresh raw fruits from 8,000 to 10,000 angstroms of energy. Now, angstroms, they calculate and measure the electromagnetic energy in these foods, right? That's the measurement for electromagnetic energy. So fresh raw fruits, 8,000 to 10,000 angstroms. Vegetables, 8,000 to 9,000 angstroms. Cooked vegetables, look at the difference between a raw vegetable and a cooked vegetable. They go from 8,000 to 9,000 to 4,000 to 6,500 angstroms just by putting heat to the food. That's why when I say when you cook your food, you are changing the chemistry of the food. You are reducing the energetic value of that food. And in my philosophy, my E.A.T philosophy, energy efficiency is number one. So if you're cooking your vegetables, you're losing damn near 50% of your energy that you're receiving from that food. And that's just vegetables. Let's keep it moving. Energy of toxic foods. Look at milk, 2,000 angstroms. Cheese, 1,800. White flour, 1,500. Cooked meats, 0 angstroms of electromagnetic energy. Body frequencies, the human average 6,500 angstroms, a cancer patient 4,875 angstroms. The more energetic foods you eat, the more vibrant and healthy you become. So that's how it's measured. That's when you look at things from the energetic perspective, because everything starts in energy and everything is energy. We have an autonomic nervous system that controls the processes of our body. Things that we don't even think about doing that happen within our body, from digestion to bowel movements to urination to transporting the nutrients to different parts of the body. Those are all autonomic nervous system. We don't think about those things. We don't make those things happen. They just happen. And they happen through nerve energy. So we have to have the energy in order to allow those processes to happen. So when we put too much burden on the body and we're dehydrated and we're stagnant, then our body has to work overload to be able to compensate for that. And if it doesn't have the energy, then it can't do that. And what happens is it builds up, and that's where disease starts. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Anytime, I love coming on here and sharing my thoughts and philosophy. So I appreciate you watching. Right. So let's look at some more angstroms here. Okay. So this was done with a special photography that could actually capture the electromagnetic energy of foods. Now, I want you to notice a few things. Number one, look how beautiful these raw foods look. Look at the apple. Look at the pear. Look at the onion. Look at the mushroom. Look at the raw tomato versus the cooked tomato. Look at the raw corn versus the cooked corn. You see the energy dissipate in both of those pictures? That is proving to you, letting you know that when you put fire to food, you are losing electromagnetic energy. It's pretty astounding stuff, if you ask me. But it's amazing. These foods have an aura. Look at that. Everything has an aura. Every living thing has an aura. Because we're all energy. At the end of the day, nature, symbiotic. We're all energetic. We all have our own field. It's just fascinating to me, for sure. So, like I said, when you look at it from that perspective, it's mind-boggling, right? It makes you question the way you look at food. Because most of the questions that I get, to be honest, is, where do I get my calcium? Where do I get, I need more protein. Where do I get my B12, right? I think I got asked, where do I get magnesium the other day? Like, I'm always asked, where do I get this? And the truth is all I need to do is show them that. That's where I get it. I mean, fruits cover the entire gamut. I don't have to think about nutrients. All I think about now is energy and energy efficiency. And I know that if I'm eating the proper diet, that my energy efficiency is going to be good. Because if I'm eating my fresh raw fruits, my raw vegetables, I'm getting tons of energy. And I know my body's built to eat it, so I'm not expending a lot of energy to digest it. So, man, my net energy, my energy efficiency is off the charts. If you just looked at food in that perspective, you'd be much better off. It's that simple. You don't have to think about all those nutrients. You just eat what you're supposed to eat, and the nutrients are taken care of. Or get as close to, or eat as much of the food you're supposed to eat, right? And then you don't have to worry about those other things. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic and pretty amazing, if you ask me, especially from an energetic perspective. Now, here's a real interesting photo. Now, this is the same electromagnetic photography showing a raw apple versus a raw slice of meat. That's a raw slice of meat. So for people that eat meat, understand that you, from an energy efficiency standpoint, you are at the bottom of the bottom, because and that's, like I said, that's a raw. As soon as you put fire to those little sparks of energy are gone. So you're not getting any energy from a cooked piece of meat, anything. Now your body's going to try to convert it to whatever it can, but it's mostly protein and it's mostly fat. So you're not getting much out of that cooked piece of meat. And from an energetic perspective, electromagnetic perspective, you're not getting anything. So where does that leave you? I mean, what I always say is awareness is most important. And now that you have information like this, it makes you more aware of what you're eating. So you think, I know for myself, every time I eat something, literally, every time I'm ready to eat, I always have that conscious voice in my head, is this for the betterment of me or the detriment of me? Every single time. So, when I decide to eat today, at, roughly noon, I'm going to eat some fruit. And I know that I'm on the higher end here of energy efficiency. I know I'm going to get my energy. I'm not worried about nutrients. Nutrients don't even enter my thought process. Because I know that I'm eating something that my body is craving, right? And it is going to fulfill my body with everything it needs and provide my body with the energy that it needs without utilizing so much energy to digest. So if we focus more on the energy of the foods we're eating versus the nutrients, we're going to be in a better place. So the next time you're thinking about, man, I got to get my calcium or this, that, and the other, understand the reasons you may feel like you need those foods. Number one is conditioning. Number two, if you're getting blood work done or whatever the case may come and case may be, and you get some type of information that says you're lacking in these certain areas, that doesn't mean to compensate with vitamins. That doesn't mean to compensate with other cooked foods that are going to fill that little gap. It means that you're not eating real food. You're not eating whole food. And when you eat the whole food and you implement that into the diet, then the rest of it just doesn't matter anymore, because you know you're going to be getting everything that you truly need. When I talk about the 80-10-10 diet, 80% of the foods that you eat should be simple carbs, meaning your fruits, right? Your fruits and some veggies, right? 10%, maximum 10% protein, maximum 10% fat. If you look at fruits and the way they're built, and leafy greens, the way they're built, they all fall under that ratio. You can eat as many of them as you want. They're all going to fall under that ratio. You don't even have to think about it. That's what's crazy. Like, you don't have to even track it. You'll know. The only caveat to that is going to be avocado, which is heavier in fat. So I would definitely pull back on the avocados and not eat those all the time. But for the most part, you're going to fall under that 80-10-10 and never even have to worry about it. But when you start implementing dairy and you start implementing cooked foods, and because when you cook something, what are you cooking it with? You're adding oil, which is 100% fat, and you start going down that road. And obviously dairy is going to have tremendous amounts of fat. Meat's going to have tremendous amounts of fat and protein, and dairy is going to have the protein. All these different things, you start skewing those ratios. And then all of a sudden your body becomes out of balance. When your body's out of balance, your body has to work harder to make up for it, but it doesn't have enough energy to make up for it. So it builds up. And I know I'm saying a lot of the things over and over, but I'm breaking it down to you in different ways. So if you're going to take anything from this particular live or this particular video, it is to understand your relationship with energy, understand how your body utilizes energy, and understand that food, when it comes to picking your food in your diet, it is more about energy than it is about nutrients. Because when you're eating the right things, the nutrients are already taken care of. But if you're eating the wrong things, that's when you start having lack of nutrition, but also lack of energy. So be aware of what you're eating, be conscious of what you're eating, and make those necessary changes, and be aware of the differences. And I promise you're going to feel them. So hope you guys all enjoyed this. I appreciate all of you who watched live. If you're watching the replay, like I said, make sure you hit that hashtag replay. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you get notified for all of my videos as well as my lives. I do this Eat and Live Naturally every Wednesday at 11:15 Central Standard Time. And like I said, if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, or anything, please drop them below. Michelle, thank you. I love all this. I can't wait to share with. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I appreciate that as well, Michelle. Appreciate all your support. So you guys have a blessed and amazing day. I'm out of here. Peace.